Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Satnam, hello everyone. We are here in this thing we call creation. The reality is, there is no reality to it. This is a movie, it's a play, it's a game that the one plays. And in the scriptures, it's called Leela, the play, and the illusion is called Maya. The reason the whole creation exists is because God is just one. There is only a oneness, and there's no other. There is no other. There can be no other. So God sitting in its aloneness, in its oneness, there's no one to talk to, there's no other, there's no anything. So within itself, within its mind, however we can conceive of it, it creates separation, what we call separation. Then it can experience love, the love of the other. It can experience hate. And people don't understand because you're designed not to understand. Don't get me wrong that you're not conscious, you're not something. You are exactly what you were supposed to be. You understand exactly what you're supposed to understand. And if you ever put yourself down, that's a self-abuse. So anything I say it's not like, I understand, you don't, or it's not like that. But you are here, and you want to hear how it works, so. The one separates itself into this creation. And so God is zero. There's nothing. There's no creation, there's no nothing. God is just zero. How do you create something out of zero? You take -1 and +1. You know, in math, you can take 0, split it into -1, +1. When you add -1 and +1 together, you go back to 0. And that's the entire creation. How it comes into being is that the nothingness splits itself to negative and positive. And the entire universe is balanced exactly of negative energy and positive energy. And negative doesn't mean bad. In this case, it means like an electric charge. So there's the electrons of the negative charge and the neutrons, protons, whatever, have a positive charge. And if you add up all the energy in the entire universe together, it adds up to 0. You have to not understand who you are, otherwise there's no reason for you to exist. The reason for existence is so that one creator, that being who has no one to hang out with, can experience. In our human mind, we put values on things. So, common thing, death is terrible, new birth is wonderful. And actually, they're equally wonderful, and they're equally part of life. There can be no death unless there's a birth. So everybody goes, oh, the worst thing is to die, and it's just not true. God cannot die. God wants to experience death, the release of death. God has no one to hang out with. God wants to experience love. God wants to experience hate. All the things that are created are within God. God is all the parts. So if somebody is hurting someone, God is doing the hurting, God is being hurt. So sometimes I say this to people, oh, then you're saying it's okay to hurt people. No, you're on the wrong level. It's not okay for you to hurt somebody. What I try to help people understand is when you're sitting and looking at life, at your life, at all life, that you don't spend your entire time upset, freaked out, judgmental, that this is wrong, that shouldn't be happening, that shouldn't be happening. You can have that attitude where you're just, I'm watching the play. The play is exactly what it's supposed to be. The play is beautiful and perfect. Then when it's time for you to act in your own behalf, in your own part in the play, you act. So if I see someone hurting somebody else, my duty is to go and stop the person who's hurting somebody. That's action. That's the realm of action. But even while I'm doing that, I can be in the consciousness. This is the play. This is my part of the play. This is what's supposed to be happening. I can defend that person from being harmed. I can even give my life to protect that person. And all the time, I'm in a state of utter, complete peace, that I am in the oneness. This is the beautiful play that it's supposed to be. So, this understanding has always been part of humanity, and it's always been, well, not always, it used to be much more widely spread that people understood this. But as the ages went through, and used to be what we called the Golden Age, and then Silver Age, and now it's called the Iron Age or the Dark Age. And spiritual consciousness is very rare. And so the yogis and the sages and the people who understood this put a system in place that people could come to this on their own. That you could go from just not understanding anything to understanding yourself completely, fully into infinity. And over the ages, it split up into various, what we call schools. So there are schools of yoga. But the entire process was basically, we need to put a system in place where people can learn, practice, have a practice with a known result. If you do this every day for X amount of minutes, eventually you get this result, you get this consciousness, you get this shift in your consciousness. Very rare that people can just get this consciousness. It normally takes a lot of work, a lot of practice, a lot of time, and just
patience.
patience, seeing how things work, dealing with it, learning from it, going through the process. So that's another thing. People think, oh, I'm not, I'm not spiritual or whatever they think. You just have to start, like any journey, you start walking one step at a time, you get there. And if you abuse yourself by thinking you're not good enough or whatever, it won't help you get there any faster. So these systems were put in place that people can come to that peace. Because if you look at the world and you see perfection, that's a very peaceful existence. That's a very peaceful way of life. And again, doesn't mean you don't act. If your thing in your life is to save the whales, you should spend every minute of your life working as hard as you can to save the whales. I'm not saying you don't do and you don't make your environment better. I'm just talking about your internal self, how you relate to the world, how you see the world. And those two things can exist at the same time. You can be involved in a terrible, terrible situation, and you can be floating above it, calm and peaceful. It's terribly hard to go through this, but it's the aim, it's the world, it's the play of the universe. A lot of different religions have push concepts, or concepts develop over time, and especially the concepts of God. And so somebody says, well, God is a man up in the sky, and you tell that to somebody and they say, well, I don't think there's a being up there in the clouds somewhere looking down. Therefore, I don't believe in God. But all you don't believe in is that concept of God. Everybody's welcome to their own concept. I'm not trying to bug anybody or say anything. But it's where a lot of misunderstanding comes from, and a lot of that pain, and especially now in the age of the modern age, internet, science has advanced so far, and these concepts worked in the Middle Ages, and they worked thousands of years ago because we didn't really know what was going on in the universe. So you could say, yes, up there beyond the clouds is God, and he's watching you. The problem is, the moment you make God separate from you, you're alone. God's over there, I'm over here. God made me into a stupid idiot and then left me alone over here. And it makes people depressed, and it makes people angry, and it makes them negative, and they like hate God, and all this stuff comes out of it. My only wish I have for people is they understand they're not separate. Again, this is something you are not designed to understand. Your brain, your entire being was created to forget that you are part of God. Nothing is wrong with you if you don't understand it. You are absolutely normal how you were meant to be. Because if God is creating this whole play within itself, it has no effect if you don't feel you are separate. If you don't think you're a separate being, how are you going to love somebody? How are you going to hate somebody? How are you going to talk? If you understand that there's no other, that there's only the one, then there's no reason to have any of this. So the creation was created to have the illusion of separation. So that's just totally normal. And the process to get yourself to the space where you can relate to that and understand that you are not separate. That's the long process of working on yourself. Meditation. Yoga, which really helps the body process the energy and channel the energy that's naturally part of you into a meditative mind. What is a meditative mind? Meditative mind is kind of just like a guy who goes to the gym every day and lifts weights. So I could sit here and go, in my mind, I have really big muscles and I'm really fit and I look really muscular. And every day I sit for an hour and I imagine I have big muscles. Well, when I open my eyes, I don't have big muscles because I didn't actually do the work that gives you big muscles. So the next time I have to lift a heavy weight, it's hard for me to lift the weight. I don't have big muscles. Meditative mind, when you meditate regularly and with a good meditative practice, your mind actually gets in shape, just like a guy who would go and lift weights in the gym and get big muscles. That happens to your mind. It becomes in shape and strong in a meditative realm, so that your mind is able to meditate for you. So in other words, you're not only meditating when you're sitting and doing a meditation, you're meditating all the time. And your mind is always there meditating for you. And when something heavy happens in your life and you have to deal with it, your meditative mind is there with the meditative muscles. My wife fell down and I had to pick her up. I could have used more muscles. I didn't have them because I hadn't been going to the gym and lifting weights. So it's the same mentally when things happen in your life, which they are going to, and they're supposed to, and they have to. If you don't have that muscle, you'll just get fried and you will get burned out. You won't be able to handle the pressure that goes through the nervous system and the brain. If you have meditative mind, it just eats up the pressure and just takes it and throws it out. It's nothing. Just like a strong man picking up a small weight. Same exact thing. Meditation, especially our form, we do Kundalini yoga. And our meditations are active, interactive. There are many schools of meditation where you just sit silent. In our system, we like to move things. And it's the system of moving the energy up the spine through the chakras so that the energy of the Kundalini, which resides just slightly below the navel, can be released, activated. It goes down and then it goes up the spine. And it's sort of like plugging in your appliances. You've got a stereo system and you want to play music, go to play music, it's not plugged in, you got no music. You want your mind, your brain, your higher self to have the switch turned on so there's energy so that it can operate. Other thing that happens when you have a meditative mind is your intuition works very well. And your intuition is what saves you from bad situations. So, say you want to buy a car and you meet a guy and he's got a car. He says, "Oh, the car is wonderful, it's great." And at that time, do you have the intuition, the car isn't great, he's not telling me the truth. And that's what your intuition does for you. And it does it on, day to day like that, like when you're going to go into a relationship with someone, you want to have an intuitive feel so that you don't get into something and get messed up before your meditative mind will protect you from going into that. And so a big part of how we move energy and change the vibration of our very atoms is using sound. And that's where the mantras come in. When you vibrate mantras, you're not singing. You're actually vibrating. I mean, singing is vibrating, but it's a different energy. It's kind of out. And what we want to do is vibrate the sound inside of our body. You can vibrate in your heart and your navel. You can vibrate physically in different parts of your body. And normally you want to create the vibration by maybe pulling your chin a little, move the sound back in your throat a little, and then it'll vibrate all up into your sinus cavity. You'll feel it all up in here, your whole head will kind of vibrate. So we're going to do a little meditation, show you something you can do on your own, which is very simple. It uses the mantra Sat Nam. And in this mantra, we're going to hold the Sat. So it'll be Sa, and then the Nam, Nam. It's very short. Long Sat, short Nam. And we're going to do it in waves, and the waves will be with the voice, so it'll sound like this. Sa, Nam. And mentally, as you're doing it, you want to start at the base of the spine, which we're going to be going up through the chakras, and the chakras, which you may have never heard before, are actually horizontal. They're not, in the pictures, they all make a picture of them like circles, and they are circles, but they're actually laying down flat. So the heart chakra is a circle around here, the navel, sex organs, anus, those are so it's anus, sex organs, navel, heart, throat, where you have that little soft spot at the base of your throat. Third eye, right here. And then on Nam, on the seventh wave is when you say Nam. And you want to go out into your entire aura, which is a circle. Okay, so Priti is going to demonstrate. So you want to try, you're going to mentally move the energy as you chant. So you're going to chant out loud, but mentally you're going to go down and pretend the chanting and the sound is going from the base of the spine, slightly up to the level of the sex organ, then up to the navel, that's the third wave, then to the heart center, then here at the throat, then third eye, which is 6, and then Nam is your aura. It just goes out the top.
Thank you. I felt that way.
All right, so we'll just do that, and you can do this. Do this with us.
And we'll take a prayer pose to guide the waves.
Yeah, so the hands stay in prayer pose, and you want to put a pressure in on the breastbone, because there's a nerve that goes right down the middle of the breastplate. It's called the mind nerve in yogic terminology, and pressure here brings your mind to a calm, centered state, because you put your left and your right together in the middle, and it centers the two energies, and then the pressure calms the mind down.
Sitting straight, both feet on the ground, or in lotus, easy pose.
Okay, and then inhale, and as you do it, you vocally do the waves. Sa, like that, okay? So it's 6 waves with the sa, and the 7th wave is nam. Mentally go out the top. And then you go back down and start over. Inhale. Sa. Hold the breath in and hear what you were just chanting mentally. Hear it resonating loudly inside your head as if you were chanting out loud. And relax the breath. And you can practice this 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 11 minutes, up to 31 minutes. It will help you and it will give you what you need in the moment you need it. So have fun, bless yourself, love yourself, don't bug yourself. See the good part of you and bring yourself along to that highest self of you, where your life is just a blessing. It's just bless everything, bless yourself, bless everything. Why bug? Sat Nam. Thank you.